All right, everybody, thanks for hopping on. I know that weekends are busy and nights are precious, but when you invest in your business, big things will happen. So thank you for those of you who are on. This is our monthly Team FHK call, and we have Abbey Walsh here with us tonight, who is going to chat with us about challenge groups and how to lead them effectively, fun, and most of all, help your clients see results, because that is the bread and butter of our business. And we can recruit, we can post, we can do everything, but once we get them in, we have to wow them. We have to make sure that they are getting all that we promised them and deliver, because we can give everyone the same tools, but we need to set our challenge group apart. So Abbey is a 2015 elite coach. She's a 5-star diamond. She is a gem. I've had the pleasure to go on several trips with her. I roomed with her in was it LA, New Leadership Conference, and just we share the same anniversary. She owns her own fitness studio and teaches classes. So she was business focused before she became a coach. She is actually a coach lead under Manny Watkins. So she was not recruited by anyone. She was stuck with this family, if you want to call it that. But we are so blessed to have her, and just excited to hear how she has changed her business in the last year by focusing on challenge groups. So Abbey, it is all you, girl.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that Brittany just highlighted a little bit of my story, because I want to make sure I get through a lot of content for you guys tonight and my best tips. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about me, except I'll share with you that in 2015, I worked really hard with my team and we all together achieved this title of elite. But at the end of the year, I felt like my challengers kind of got the back burner. And I really wanted in 2016 to come up with new systems that were going to get my challengers the best results ever. Because I know, and if you don't know yet, you'll soon know that the best coaches are challengers. So I need to have those people have an amazing experience that they want even more of me and want to become a coach, not just somebody who was good in a group. And I did most of my recruiting in the past, not from challenge groups. So now pretty much all of my recruiting is from challenge groups completely. And that process I'm going to teach you tonight. So I hope you are ready to roll, because I am, and I'm going to share with you tonight my top 5 tips on creating challenge groups that will create you both results and revenue. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I have a PowerPoint, because if I don't, I'm a squirrel. So here's that for you guys. So here we go. Like I said, my top 5 tips. The first thing I'll share with you guys is back when before my current system, I would run 21-day groups. 21-day groups, because the 21-day fix was hot since 2014, and it was like we run 3-week challenge groups. And then, I was like, okay, I'll run 30-day groups. But really, people would have a healthy month, and then they'd be done. They'd either be like, well, okay, I got my results for whatever trip I wanted to go on or whatever I was doing. And they'd go on that trip, they'd gain 10 pounds back, and they were done with their healthiness. And I was like, this was crushing my spirit, because I wanted to help people create a healthy lifestyle, not a healthy month. So what I decided was we needed to have longer than a month together to really make this happen. So I started leading with a 3-month commitment to 90-day challenge groups, not necessarily 90-day programs, but 90-day challenge groups. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but this is just a snapshot to help you see, if any of you, who are on live or watch this recording later, are people who think that, you shouldn't make money. Like if you're one of those personalities that you just want to help everybody and you love to help people, and you want people to join groups and you let them join groups without purchasing anything all the time, and you feel like well, if I was really doing what was best for somebody, I'd just help them. That's great. But you also deserve to make money if you're making an impact in their lives, because this is a career. It is a job too. And you put a lot of time, effort, and energy into it. So I want to kind of display out for you, if you all set a goal that you're going to help at least 3 new challengers enroll with an all access challenge pack every month, and these figures were based off of the original price of the challenge pack at $199, we'd get $70 commission on that challenge pack. You times that by 3, it's $210. And then every month, because you led with a 3-month commitment, you have 3 people on Shakeology Home Direct the second month, and then you have 6 people on Shakeology Home Direct the third month. You see how your commissions keep adding up. If you're somebody who you say, I really want to build a business, I'd really like to build it faster, and I want to help more people, then you make Success Club 10 your goal. You help 5 new people a month, and you can double those numbers and see how quickly you could really change your income and your family's income situation. So I lead with a 3-month commitment. Like I shared with you, it does help your revenue as well, but it also sets up the expectation for these people that you're creating a healthy lifestyle for them, not just a healthy month. So let's talk. Every month then, if Success Club 5 is your goal, if you want to help 3 new people, registration needs to be open to your group. So the way I personally run things is I have one group, and I'll elaborate on this in a little bit. It's a 90-day challenge group, and it's the same exact group every single month. I remove people from it who have graduated. I add new people to it who are entering, but I don't need to redo photo albums then. I don't need to add new recipes. Everything is done for me there. So I have one group. Registration is open enrollment, I call it, every month, and I will take on, my personal comfort level might be different than yours, but mine is 10 to 15 people is my goal. Some of those might be people who needed to get back on the wagon, but Success Club 10 is a non-negotiable personally in my business. So I bring new people on, enrolling them with the challenge pack every month, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So it starts with you. So if your challenge groups are kind of dudding out right now, or you kind of feel like at a loss, I want you to start by asking yourself 3 questions. Number 1 is, are you practicing what you preach? 2, are you hiding behind your coach hat? And 3, are you actually providing what you said you would? So really take a second and marinate on that for a minute, because these are the 3 questions I had to ask myself when I wanted to change my business. And the first one was I practicing what I preached? Was I the first one who was posting my before photos with the group or updating my stats each week like I asked them to do? Was I the first one posting my check-in, or was I the last one, or maybe not the one doing it at all because I was hiding behind my coach hat of, now I'm the one that tells you what to do, not the one who does it and sliding off track yourself. And then the last one there is, are you actually providing what you said you were going to? I used to see so many posts from coaches, and I was guilty of it myself too, of, you get a 24/7 coach. You get me all day do they really get you all day every day? They shouldn't anyways. But, we're setting up false expectations for people when we say things like that. Are we giving them what we said we were going to? Did you tell them, the purpose of these challenge groups is so that they don't slide off track, so they have accountability, so there's somebody there to pull them back in when they fall off? Did you do that for them, or did you forget they existed because you weren't keeping track of them? I can say I'm the first one to admit I was guilty of this too. I had people purchasing challenge packs, never starting programs, people who fell through the cracks. I thought I had systems in place, but really I wasn't giving people what I said I was going to. So ask yourself that first, so you know where you are right now, and then we can build on where you want to go. So if you're a note taker, this is my tip 1 of 5. So number 1 is set clear expectations. So I do this through my initial messaging with them, as well as through the posts I make. I set clear expectations also through giving them a challenge contract. That's a little picture of mine down below. But basically in this contract, what I do is I let them know what I expect of them, and I let them know what they can expect of me. They can expect of me that I will respond to their messages within 24 to 48 hours. They can expect of me that I'm on this journey too, just like them. And I might have days that something went wrong and I didn't show up, but I'm going to show up again the next day. And I'm letting them know that I'm a real person. This does 2 things. Number 1, it just sets everything out. You don't have any misunderstandings. But number 2, it makes it feel like a real transaction with people when they actually have to sign something. Like, I'm going to start this, I'm going to do it, and this is what this chick's expecting of me, and I can expect that of her as well. And it's kind of like a deal. And I really love what that's done for my business. The other thing that I feel like, is the subtle thing that we'll talk more about towards the end of this call is that it also lets people know that they can do this too. So I've basically said to them that I'm just like you. I'm here doing this thing, and I might mess up from time to time. So it's keeping it real, and I think that lays the first foundation of I'm not perfect. So that's set clear expectations. The other thing within that is don't sell somebody a challenge pack and then not let them know they're making a 90-day commitment and expect them to stay on Shakeology for 90 days. I used to do this. Maybe you do this too. Why don't you just give it a try? And, if you don't like it after a month, you don't have to continue. And you kind of let them know in advance that, like, it's cool if they don't want to do it anymore, or you kind of downplay it because maybe you're not so sure of it yourself. But when you lead with the commitment of, I know for me personally, it took over 2 weeks for me to find a recipe of Shakeology I liked and for me to get my digestion on track. And I know for me, I've had many ups and downs on this journey, and I've gone to picnics and birthday parties and then completely fell off track. And if this was only a month-long challenge, we wouldn't be able to learn how to get back on track together. So that's why I want you to commit to 90 days, because in 90 days, I truly believe I can help you through the highs and lows, create a lifestyle where you don't need me to hold your hand anymore. Okay? So that's setting clear expectations from the front. Number 2 is I run a prep week. So I used to open my group on like Thursday or Friday. We were going to start on Monday. And for whatever reason, we didn't get to get into all of my story, but I own a fitness studio. Yes, I also have my master's in nutrition. I have a lot of knowledge. And I can't believe I ever thought that anybody could completely change their lifestyle in 3 days. Like, over the weekend, you'll totally learn how to eat a new way. You'll be able to ditch all the bad food in your house.
You're going to love yourself.
It's like, what the heck was I thinking? But by running a prep week instead, I gave people permission to ease into this with me. And we had time to talk through all the details. I'll share with you basically what I do, but in a nutshell, I let them know on the Sunday before prep week that this is kind of the outline, kind of like what a teacher would do. Our objectives for the week are Monday, we're going to set goals. Tuesday, we're going to learn about the nutrition plan. Wednesday, we're going to decide what workout program you're going to do. Thursday, we're going to start meal planning. Friday, we're going to talk about how all these pieces go together with accountability. And then over the weekend, we're going to make sure we prep our food, we plan our meals, and we do our before pictures so we have a starting place. I've already told them everything we're going to do, and I told them we have a plan to get there. That is so encouraging to people to know how it's all going to get done. And then we execute that every day. I go live 3 to 5 times during that week to really kind of keep the group moving. But those are the topics that I go over, and I think that has totally changed my group. And I give them permission to go all in if they're ready, or to ease into things as we go. So that's changed everything for me. Number 3 is do not let people start if they're not prepared. So I used to just, let people go, even if they didn't do a before picture. I hounded them and I asked them to do it, and then they didn't do it, or they didn't have a meal plan, or they didn't comment on any of the posts as they were supposed to as we were starting. And part of my contract is I will show up every day and check into the group. So I'm already not honoring my contract if I let them continue and I show them that it's like kind of like disciplining a child. Like, hey, if you do that, you're not going to get to watch TV, and then you let them watch TV anyways. It's not going to work. We're not going to help them create behavior change. So don't let them start if they're not prepared. What does this mean? Well, for me, what's required is what you see in that success checklist that I give them the weekend before we start, that you have to take your current before pictures, share it in the group. You have to get rid of anything bad in your house that doesn't serve you. You have to make your meal plan, go grocery shopping, prep anything. And if you haven't done any of the other things that we did this week, like set your goals and all that, you got to do it now. And part of this post that I post in my group says that this is when I have to put my coach hat on and let you know if you don't have these things done by 9 p.m. on Sunday night, you cannot continue with this round of our group. I'm still here for you. I will help you get ready for the next round, but we can't do it without, how did that happen? Why is there pink all over the screen? Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Anyways, we'll ignore that. But, so I let them know that if they don't do it, they're going to be removed. And I hold up to that 100%. So it wasn't like I posted that at, 7 p.m. on Sunday and in 2 hours they had to have it done. All week long, I've been talking about it. I've been talking about all the things we had to do. And I post this Saturday morning and I let them know, you got all weekend to do it, plan accordingly. And usually during my live videos all week long, I'm saying, if you have a busy weekend, plan accordingly, take your pictures now, do your things, because you're not going to move on without us, okay? If you haven't had an experience like this yet, you will at some point. If you let people continue without getting started, 2 things happen. Number 1, they get amazing results and they are so pissed at you that they don't have a before picture. I've had this happen. Like somebody's lost 50 pounds and they have no starting place. They're like,
all the time,
kidding me. Or even better, they want to become a coach and they're like, I can't believe I don't have that. I don't want to let them do that. So I tell them people's stories like that. I say, you don't even have to share it with me if you don't want to, but I need to know you took it. Tell me you took it. Okay. I'll say, send it to somebody who you trust so that somebody has a copy when you accidentally delete it off your phone and you're mad if you don't want to email it to me. But I let them know they can't start without it. The second thing happens if you don't let these people do it, the polar opposite. They never show up. They never got started in the first place. They're the squatters in your group that bring down the morale and make everybody else feel like they don't have to post. And even better yet, they're going to be your biggest haters who tell everybody in the world, I tried that Beachbody stuff and it doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. What didn't work was them. They didn't work. They never got started. But we allowed them to think that they did our program by allowing them to be in our group and never participating. Okay? So try to remember that when you have to strong arm people. Just set up the expectations in advance and how to do it.
Do you get pushback on that from people? Like, have you had someone not take a picture and not join the group? Like, how did that?
So usually for me, it's been that people just didn't do anything, and then I didn't let them join the group. I was like, you're not ready. Like, you didn't meal plan. You don't know what workout you're gonna do. You don't have any food in your house. You didn't take pictures. Like, I don't think this is the best time for you. Do you want to start the next round instead? And we make a game plan. But if I've ever had anybody push back just because of a photo, we usually work something out, like I said, of either email it to me, you don't have to share it in the group, or, send it to somebody else. Do it. Yeah. So number 4 is more than a healthy month. So, this whole idea, if you can embrace it, that I hope it's why you're all in this too. It's not to sell a challenge pack, but our job, what I love to share with my coaches and my clients that I bring on with me is that, all the other companies out there that you can work for in network marketing, you sell, products to people. You sell purses and lip gloss.
Hold on, Abby. I just went live before we went on this call about we're not a product, we're lifestyle.
Yeah.
I literally just went live on that.
That's amazing. So it totally echoes what I'm saying with you guys right now is that, they get to sell you something. I love lip scents. I love it. I buy 1 million of them from a girl that's a friend nearby. But she sells me a product, and how often do you think she gets a hold of me and checks in on how my lip gloss is treating me? They don't have to do anything. It's sold and it's done. For us, we don't just sell something and it's done. We sell something and we get started. Right? Yeah. We get started on the mission of changing their life.
Then the work begins.
Every time. Yeah, it's where the work begins. When the sale happens, it's when the work begins. And I tell them that's why we've got to do this for 90 days. It's because it's more than a healthy month. I'm not happy that I got your $50. I'm happy when you lose the weight that you told me you wanted to lose, or you got off that medication that you told me you don't want to take for the rest of your life because you're only 35. So that's what matters, and that's why we do this for 90 days. The last thing of my top tips before we go into some more details is ditch the fluff and track your participants. So I'm going to tell you what this means for me. So how many of you love making graphics? I love making graphics. Canva is my best friend. And I would spend so much time making graphics and making these elaborate challenge group templates for myself and my team to use. And you know what was really awful about that? I had this beautiful stuff, but then I didn't have any time to make sure people were actually getting results. And they were actually checking into the group and not falling off the face of the earth. And the other thing that it did was it made me have to work harder at constantly coming up with new content all the the time because these people were in my groups again. So maybe that was a thought that was already in your head, was like, how do you run these groups for 90 days and new people be coming in? Aren't they going to see the same content that the people who have already been here have seen? But I don't use a challenge group template anymore. And we'll talk about that. So what's my morning routine? Every morning, personally for me, if you haven't read The Miracle Morning, I'll preach it all day long. But and if you have, read The Miracle Morning for network marketers. If you haven't, it's different and it's even more gold in my opinion. But every day when I get up in the morning, if I'm going to work out with my husband, I do that. But when I sit down to work, after I've done my devotions and written my affirmations and all that jazz, the first thing I do, me and my cup of coffee, get down with my challenge group, and you see that little participant tracker. I'm a pen and paper kind of person. I literally go through and I check off each person in my group who checked in with what I require, which is their daily food log. All right. So that's how I spend the first part of my morning, because it's what's most important for me, at least with my background in nutrition. How many of you know that you can't outrun your fork, right? They can work out every day, but they can still be getting no results because they're eating Snicker bars 3 times a week, and you didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't ask. And even better, they might be using that cute little container tracker, but they might be calling a yellow their Snickers bar. I had a lot of clients be doing that. They're like, yeah, I'm making substitutions. I was still within my calories for the day.
There's no Weight Watchers.
So eliminating that mentality, I want to see their food log every day. You can't really see it past my 3 days on this screenshot example I have here, but I have like code on my sheets. Like they're so scribbled on. I like highlight in colors if they skipped a workout. I highlight in colors if they had like a total cheat thing, because I want to know at the end of the week, when Sarah didn't get results and Sarah's mad that the scale didn't move, I want to be able to look at my sheet and be like, I highlighted pink 4 days out of the week because she ate something off plan 4 days out of the week. So then we can go through and look at that together and say, let's look at your food logs. Like, hey, what can we change? I can actually give somebody help, and nobody needs a nutrition degree for that. That's just called self-evaluation. You know what's on the plan, and you know what wasn't on the plan that they ate. So that's what I do every day. I track my participants. So what about a daily post? I don't waste time creating daily post content or challenge group guides anymore. What I will do is I will be a strong participant in the group. I will post my daily food log every day. I will post my workout every day. I will share recipes that I'm making. I will comment and interact on every single post that's there. And if I notice that everybody seemed to be struggling with their water that day after I checked them off in the morning, I will make a morning post saying, hey, looks like everybody struggled with water yesterday. Why don't we all challenge ourselves to get in half our body weight in water today? Update all day long how you're doing with pictures of you in water to keep the group on track. Okay, so now I'm being effective as a coach because I'm taking what they actually struggled with and put it out there for them, instead of coming up with sharing articles or writing, helpful hints and tips and tricks that had nothing to do with what they were actually struggling with in that moment. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So taking what is necessary, which is what they're actually doing, and then playing off of what they need. That's what I do. So check-in messaging. So how do I keep people on Shakeology? I might have forgot to mention this, but my Shakeology retention is super high in comparison to what it used to be because I make people to commit to 90 days from the onset. I tell them that in our messaging from the beginning, you'll be committing to me, the group, and Shakeology for 90 days. So they know that in advance. But how do I make sure that what usually happens doesn't happen? What usually happens, maybe you guys have experienced this. Somebody didn't start drinking Shakeology from the beginning. They waited a week maybe to get started for whatever reason, or your challenge group didn't start yet, so they didn't start drinking Shakeology once it arrived. So now their second bag comes, they're only like halfway through their first bag and they immediately cancel, or they delay it right from the onset. Or maybe, something else happened where they totally were stirring their Shakeology and you didn't know, so you couldn't help a girl out and let her know how to mix your Shakeology the right way. Right. So these are the 2 messages that I do. Past this, there's other things I do, but these are the 2 that I think have changed everything for me from the onset. So week 1, as soon as our group starts, hey girl, wanted to check in and see if you started drinking your Shako every day. So 2 things there. Did you start, and are you doing it every day? How are you liking it? How are you mixing it? I do this via voice memo, and if you guys don't know you can do this yet, there's a little button beside your voice memo that you can forward it to everybody in your group that's new, and they don't know that you forwarded it. So just don't say, hey, Susan, say, hey, girl, or whatever kind of lingo you use, and they won't know, and that'll take you no time at all. So then week 2, I'll say, hey, girl, happy Monday. This is always on Monday that I do this. Don't forget to start your week strong with Shakeology. Are you noticing less cravings and more energy? How's your digestion? So I tackled 2 things here that are usually major issues for me. Number 1, somebody maybe was already eating healthy or whatever, and they didn't notice necessarily what Shakeology was doing for them. And so they might be that person in 30 days that said, like, it was good, but I really can't justify the cost because I didn't really think it was doing anything for me. So I'm trying to help people see the positive things that it's doing from them from day one, bringing to their attention, are you having more energy? Are you having less cravings? You know, how's your digestion? And that second piece is super important because maybe they're like having explosive diarrhea and they're not telling you in the group. And somebody needs to tell you that there's something not working, and you can suggest to them to maybe do a half scoop while they're getting adjusted. Or maybe you ask them a question like, hey, do you ever have any issues with dairy? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm lactose intolerant. And then you're like, maybe you should try vegan instead. Let's change your next shipment to vegan. Yeah. So this happens so much, and it's such an avoidable thing that we can do if we just take this small action and check in with them. And then they're going to stay on Shakeology. Okay. So then 90 days to lifer or rockstar coach. So these are my 90 days of how I plan out my group, and hopefully that'll help you. So phase 1 is the first 30 days. That's accountability and results. This is me with my checklist every day, all up in their face. Like, I didn't see you today. You didn't check in last night in the group. You're going to get a tag from me in the group the next day. So if I'm going to post like, hey, I see y'all were struggling with water yesterday. Let's challenge each other to do our water. Hey, Sally and Sarah, I didn't see your check-ins last night. How'd the day go? So that's like subtle nudge 1. Okay. Number 2, second day, I didn't see them. 2 spots on my checklist that are missing for them. I send them a private message immediately asking how they are, letting them know that if they had a slip up, it's totally okay. If life is busy, it's totally okay. I want them to know I've been there too, but my job as their coach is to make sure they're doing okay and see how I can support them best. So then after that, if 3 days go by and I don't see somebody, do you know what I do? Something that might make some of you uncomfortable. I pick up my phone and I call them. That's your job. Your job. You said you were going to hold them accountable. Do it. Do something that is going to be meaningful to them and let them know that you care, okay? So that's phase 1. Phase 1 is all about accountability and results. For me, like I shared with you guys, I make them check in with their food log every day. That's important to me. That's a requirement. It's part of my contract. And then on the weekends, every weekend, they know they have to update their progress. They have to share new pictures. They have to do their weight and their measurements. It's just part of our routine in our group. They can do it anytime during the weekend. And I ride them to make sure they do it. We're good. Yeah. And so phase 2 is going to be 31 to 60 days. So this is my people that they've done this for 30 days. They're getting in the groove, and I'm going to help them lead by example now. Okay. So what I typically do after 30 days, I get on a Zoom call with everybody in my challenge group. I create an event within the group, let them know when the call is going to be, and I just applaud the crap out of them. I usually let all of those people tell their story to each other. It helps them build confidence of coaching because I get them to tell their story to each other from day 1. And then the other thing that we do on that call is I let them know that the new baby challengers are coming in to the group after this weekend, and they're going to be starting fresh, and they're going to be feeling a lot of things that you felt in the beginning. Can you make sure you like and comment on their posts and you encourage them when they're struggling? Can you also just lead by example and be the first ones that show up with your check-ins every day? Don't get lazy with that because they're going to see what you're doing and they're going to model that behavior. Can you do that for me? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm so excited. I'm doing awesome still. They're on their high. Great. So that's phase 2. During this time, during the next, period of 60 to 90 days during phase 3, I try to have a one-on-one call with anybody who will get on the phone with me. Okay. So this is because this is my time when I talk to them one-on-one. They're in that last phase of the group. I'm empowering them to lead. I want to speak specifically to them about how they rock in challenge groups and how they could rock as a coach. So we have that conversation if it hasn't already naturally happened. So we have that conversation, and I empower them to lead if they're interested in coaching at all. Even if they're not, and I think that they would be great, I assign them 1 to 2 buddies within the group. And I say, hey, would you do me a favor and you look after Jen and Sarah, and will you just look for their posts every day? Type them in the search bar, like and comment on their posts. And, if you don't see them ever, could you just shoot me a message and say, hey, Jen hasn't been here for 2 days. Just wanted you to know, and reach out to her and let her know that you noticed she wasn't there. I already know that Jen wasn't there because I'm keeping track of Jen too. I didn't give up my duties as coach, but it helps me see then when Michelle messages me and she says, Jen hasn't been here for 2 days. I wanted to make sure I let you know. I know Jen actually really cares, and she'd make an amazing coach at this point. She actually did what I asked her to do. She was checking in with those people every day. So keep that in mind. Those are ways that I empower people to lead. At the end of their 90 days, if they've become a coach already, I celebrate them and I post a shout out in our group with their picture, just like I do in my team page. Jen became a coach. I am so excited for her. You guys have seen how empowering she's been in the group, and she's doing amazing things, blah, blah, blah. If they aren't becoming a coach at this point in time, it's been 90 days, I ask them if they'll share their story in the group anyways, their day 1, day 90 photos, share their story, and then I'll encourage them once again to consider becoming a coach because of how awesome they've been. Okay, so that's kind of my layout. This is what I went over with you already, but it's just written out in case you want to take a screenshot of it. Those are the calls that I do personally, a kickoff call for our prep week, 30-day progress group Zoom call. At 60 days, I try to get on a one-on-one call with them. And at 90 days, when we close the group, I do a call with all of them as well. So group graduation, like I said, if they enroll as a coach, we talk about any tweaks to their post, their day 1, day 90 post they shared in the group, because that's their coming out post as a coach. And if they haven't enrolled, I sent them another message about how powerful their story was and how many lives I believe that they could change. So that's that in a nutshell. I tried to talk quick at the end there so I could leave 5 minutes for you guys if you have any questions. But that's what I do in running 90-day groups.
That was awesome. So many little nuggets. I hope some of you were going through that going, oh, that's awesome. I do that already. Or okay, I need to overhaul and add in some major changes. So I loved one question, Abby. Do you do Facebook group or do you do tracker group? Or do you do both?
I personally use Facebook for my 90-day groups. I have a group on the tracker that's my ongoing group. So when people have graduated from their 90 days with me on Facebook, that's where I often put them because I view it as a little more casual. And I describe to them this is kind of like a positive Instagram feed. People are posting encouragement in there and their daily workouts, and you can still be held accountable. Every week I check in and make sure you've been there.
Okay. Which was my second question. So after 90 days, you plug them into a challenge tracker group and just kind of stay accountable, stay on them. Do you touch base with them frequently or just check in there when you can?
I check in there when I can. I personally still post my workouts and everything in there every day. So they still see me every day. But once a week, for me, my day's Friday, I'll go through the tracker and see who all has been present.
Okay.
And I'll shoot out messages once a week if not.
All right, guys, I'll open it up because I can sneak her away anytime. So does anybody have questions? Sarah, you want to talk?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Do you ever have issues burning out since you're doing a challenge group constantly and you never have a week off or anything? Do you ever experience?
Me personally?
Yeah.
So I don't get burnout because people participate. And I think we get burnout when people don't participate because it just feels like we're freaking pulling people, you know? But when you don't feel that way, I never feel burnout with my groups.
It's a good question. Because I think that I started, I don't know how long ago it was, but you started doing the week prep. And I just can't get my mind around a week because I feel like that just puts so much pressure on me to get them signed up in time. So when you do, if you start prep on Sunday, when do they have to purchase their challenge pack by?
They had to have purchased by Saturday night.
Saturday
So
night.
I allow prep week to be the week that they wait for their challenge pack to come if it hasn't arrived yet.
Okay.
So they can still access their resources on BOD and they're maybe waiting for their Shakeology to come.
Okay.
But after prep week starts, it's like the gate is closed and I don't let another soul in the group. And that's one thing I didn't share with you guys that I'll share real quick is that, so I have one 90-day group like I told you about. It's always the same. Albums are the same. I take people in and out of it. I have one group on Facebook that's my nutrition prep week group. So they're only in there for a week. It's like their holding tank. So if they don't follow through on their before pictures or any of that stuff, I don't have to like remove them from the 90-day group. They just don't get to graduate into the 90-day group.
Okay.
So that's what I do is kind of my way to hold them. And that's where like my challenge group contract and all that stuff's in the files of that group. And then I just remove people from that group at the end of the month when I'm ready to add new people to the prep group.
Okay. So you have a nutrition prep group that you add all your new people in or people who don't graduate.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they complete the 7 days of getting ready for their challenge group, you move them into the 90-day group that is just revolving 90 days of check-in basically.
Right. Exactly.
And accountability and going through your 3 phases.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the option to either coach or go into your tracker group. Sounds like.
Yep. Exactly. And I'd say 1 in 3 people since I do this have become coaches. So it's been pretty good odds.
I like that. What else? Any other questions? Someone chatted. Right. It is really good. I think it's just like it's a good system to know what to expect every month. And you're not scrambling on when the start date is and when this is and how this is. And you can continuously, Abby's probably at the point now where you have this down, your followers know what to expect. You know, people who come in or refer people, like they can give them exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I have one more question? I'm sorry. What do you do for free groups? Do you do those on the side too? And then like, when do you run those throughout
all my challengers come from my free group. So literally the way I roll my month is that the last week of every month is when I do my free group. So people order on the first 5 days of the month. I hit Success Club 10. My prep week starts always the second Monday of the month. And then it keeps rolling. So that's every single month looks the exact same for me. And most of my people, I'd say 75% of my people come out of my free group.
Okay. Can you send me, I think you have it. I think I have it somewhere, but can you send me your monthly flow again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to wrap this up because it's going to end. So I just want to say thanks so much, Abby. This was so great. So many good takeaways. I have a few things I'll ask you and then I'll get back to the team with when we have a little bit more time. But thank you so much for taking the time tonight and sharing with us. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for having me.
See ya. Good night, team.